Ma nishtana halayla hazeh. How is this night different from all other nights? Well, this year, admittedly, Passover is very confusing. I'm hearing, yes, it is. Because the first night Seder is when? On what? Saturday night. Which means that our routine is already thrown off by Passover, but our routine with a Saturday night Seder throws us completely off. So I hope I don't make it more confusing, but I wanted to share for a few minutes the pre-Passover rituals and take advantage of this strange nature of Passover this year to add some spiritual elements to the holiday and hopefully your own Seder experience. So here's what's going to happen. You don't have to take notes, by the way. You can listen to the recording later. But as a reminder, Thursday morning, this upcoming Thursday morning, is the prayer service for the fast of the firstborn, 7:30 in the morning. I feel like everyone's ready to write this down. You don't have to write it down. Again, you can hear the recording later, and it's on our website. But 7:30 in the morning, Thursday, here in Ziegler Sanctuary. Now, usually after the service and after the siyum, the teaching that follows a completion of study, that's when many refrain from the eating of chametz, the eating of leaven products. But it's different this year because you can continue eating chametz all the way until early Shabbat morning, which means Thursday night, that's when we engage in the ritual of birikat chametz, the searching of the chametz in our homes. Friday morning is when we perform biur chametz, the burning of the leaven products, and it's when we sell the chametz in our home. But when we sell the chametz, listen, it's conditional. This is the loophole. When we sell the chametz, we declare that we will have chametz in our homes until Shabbat morning. And you can say, Rabbi, that's fantastic, but if you're like me and you want a clean, kosher home, and you've been working for days to make sure that your refrigerator is clean and your pantry is clean, what do? And so the sources say that you can choose. You can either have challah on Friday night and Saturday morning, or you can have egg matzah. And what we will be doing in my house, we will be having Shabbat dinner outside. Yeah. Good advice. But again, I don't want to give you a headache over the different rules that are being thrown at us. But I have to say, this is why I love Passover. Because Passover isn't a holiday in which we just sit back and we watch prayers chanted on the bima. It is certainly an introspective holiday, but it is also a holiday that is participatory. It's engaging, it's thought-provoking, and dare I say, fun. Because I want us to look at the Seder like a classroom experience, where each guest at the Seder is a student coming to learn, but also coming to teach. We have a Seder plate right in the middle of the table, just so children and adults might ask the questions, why do we dip that parsley in the salt water? And what is the meaning behind hitting each other with green onions when we sing Dayenu? And so indulge me just for a few moments as I offer 3 different ideas you might consider bringing or teaching at your Seders next Saturday and Sunday evenings. The first idea, like I said, the Seder plate tells a story. Each item on the Seder plate represents a different piece of our narrative. And over the years, we have found that other items have been added to the Seder plate or the Seder table to help expand the story and help those around the table feel seen and included. Over the years at our own Seder, we've added a kos Miriam, a Miriam's cup. Anyone add a Miriam's cup to their? I love it. To acknowledge the women that were part of the Exodus story. One of the goals of Passover is to see yourself as one who had left Egypt. And so the hope is that no matter your age, no matter your religious engagement, each Jew, even those little ones back there, see themselves as part of the Jewish story, as an integral character of the narrative of the Jewish people. And so I taught a class this week, and I asked each participant in the class to bring an item that represents who they are this year, an item that symbolizes their connection to the Jewish story. And one student decided that she would bring a yellow ribbon. Why? She said this year she feels so connected to the hostages, and so she plans on putting a yellow ribbon right in the middle of the Seder plate. Another student explained to me that she is going to put seeds on the Seder plate, symbolizing the growth and resilience of the Los Angeles community and the Jewish community's role in rebuilding after the devastation of the Los Angeles fires. If you are hosting a Seder, I encourage you to consider asking your guests to each bring one symbol to add to the Seder plate, and then take a few moments during the Seder to hear why and how their symbol connects them to the greater Jewish story. And maybe you're not hosting, and you don't really feel like making your guest do that kind of work, but do the exercise yourself. And as you go through the Haggadah page by page, perhaps then you'll see yourself not as an observer, but as an active character in the journey of our people. Second idea. In the Haggadah, we read about 4 children: the wise child, the wicked child, the simple child, and the one that does not know how to ask the question. And I don't know if you're like us, but there's a lot of pointing during that part in the Seder. Who's the wicked child here? But Rabbi Miriam Spitzer encourages us to look at this section of the Seder in an entirely new way. She writes the following: perhaps the Haggadah deliberately provides caricatures of 4 children to teach us something about the care that we must take when we answer questions. Because each person coming to our Seder is coming from a different place. This one might be older and experienced. This one, maybe they've never attended a Seder in their life. This one's been sick, and they didn't expect to make it to Seder, but they're there. And here's one person who never learned how to read Hebrew, and guess what? This person knows how to speak French. She explains that the point of including the 4 children really has less to do with the questions they do or do not ask, and more about the ways that we choose to respond and answer questions that come our way. How many times in the middle of a conversation have we said to children and adults alike, I don't have time to answer you right now. Or that question has nothing to do with the discussion that we're having. But Seder night is different. Seder night is an opportunity for a discussion about the best ways we can answer questions. We often sneer at the wicked child, but guess what? That child is sitting around our table. What a gift we have. And so perhaps on Seder night, you will look around and you will see the most challenging and sometimes belligerent of students or guests, and now see an opportunity to bring them closer and encourage all in attendance to not hold back, but rather to ask and wonder, to test, to debate. Not every question needs the precise answer in that moment. But think of the difference between creating an atmosphere where questions are welcomed rather than creating an environment where questions are pushed away. My final suggestion. Who is missing from your Seder? Whether it's a departed loved one that won't be taking their regular seat, or perhaps it's a family member or a friend from which you are estranged. When we sit around the Seder table, it's often when loss feels so palpable. And so my suggestion is that when we open up the door for Elijah, that you consider adding some words. You can either say it to yourself, or perhaps you'll say it so that everyone else can hear as well. this year, as I open the door for Elijah, I am inviting this person. You'll say their name. I'm inviting this person into my Seder and into my heart. And whether they are living or not, you are welcoming their spirit into your home, a reminder that while they may be physically missing, their presence and the ways you pray they will continue to be a part of your life, that is eternal. And just like the ongoing story of the Jewish people, you have declared in that moment that their names and their story are forever woven within your own. Manishtana halayla hazeh. This night is very different from all other nights. And so I pray that our Seders, that they are filled with connection, with learning, with questions, with patience, with memories, and with hope. Nights with different rituals and songs and food and fun to remind us that each one of us has a rightful place within the ongoing story of the Jewish people. Thank God this night is different from all other nights. Early Chag Sameach and Shabbat Shalom.